So Yale has been in the news a lot in the past month thanks to Brett Kavanaugh, or as we like to call him, the human equivalent of a game of Four Loko Pong.
Now, with Brett Kavanaugh's appointment to the Supreme Court, people have been talking a lot about his boys will be boys days at Yale, during which he frolicked with his brothers in Deke, a fraternity now notorious for sexual assault allegations.
Here to talk about the future of America is our senior fraternity correspondent, Ben Friedman.
What's up, my dudes? Yeah! Thanks for having me, dudes.
Hey, of course, man. Cool.
Cool.
So, Ben, what are your thoughts on Kavanaugh?
Honestly, guys, I don't know what the big deal is about Kavanaugh being a Deke. Did you know that 76% of current congressmen and senators and 85% of all Supreme Court justices since 1910 were in a fraternity in college?
That's kind of insane. Like, can you guys imagine if 85% of Supreme Court justices were in an improv group in college?
Every court case would be 9-0 for yes and.
Or if 85% were YDN op-ed columnists.
They would live their whole outspoken lives not realizing that everyone hates them.
If 85% were in fence.
Not only would marijuana be legalized, it would be mandated.
Okay, so Ben, how do you explain this insane proportion of fraternity men in high positions of government?
Well, Jamie, I think it's obvious. Fraternities give you important skills that prepare you for a life in politics.
How so?
Fraternities like Deke teach young men how to become good leaders and respected members of their communities. Deke's actual motto is gentlemen, scholars, and jolly good fellows.
That's ridiculous. That's like if Taco Bell's motto was, Taco Bell, our food doesn't give you explosive diarrhea.
That joke was brought to you by Taco Bell.
In fact, Jamie, the whole show is brought to you by Taco Bell. How do you think I paid for that dead pelican?
Okay, we're going to let that slogan slide. Can you give us some actual examples of how being in a fraternity prepares you for being in government?
Well, Jamie, I think I see what Ben is saying. Fraternity brothers have to manage large groups of people, make compromises that best suit everyone, and create a sense of community, all of which are important skills in politics.
Exactly. Working as a Leo bouncer teaches you about immigration policy. Playing beer pong teaches you how to crush your limits and celebrate. And streaking? You want to talk about prepping for public service. With public indecency, you're halfway there, am I right?
No. That's all just a little bit much, Ben.
What are you talking about? Literally every single part of fraternity life directly prepares you for high government office. Every single part.
Okay, then how about we play a little game? Our producers gave us some examples of things that actually happened at fraternities here at Yale. We'll give you the example, and then you explain to us how it prepares someone for a job in the government.
I'm down. Sounds like a good game. It's no don't drink the dong water, but I'm down for anything that involves drinking.
Ben, this isn't a drinking game.
Not with that attitude.
Okay, so example 1. According to a 1962 YDN article, Deke pledges were branded with a delta symbol on their lower back. How does that translate to the Supreme Court or to Congress?
Well, tolerating extreme amounts of pain is definitely important for someone in government. As a politician, you have to deal with pain every day. Constituents come to you with requests for things that you can do to help their communities. You hear these tragic stories about their struggles, and you have to look at them in the eyes and say, no. More. That shit really weighs on your soul.
Wow. Example 2. According to a YDN article from 1967, a pledge at Yale in the 60s had to sit on the floor for an hour while brothers filled his underwear with ketchup. How did that prepare him for a life in politics?
Are you asking me how being emasculated by older, more powerful members of your club prepares you for politics? Why don't you ask Paul Ryan, all right?
According to that same 1967 YDN article, Deke pledges had honey smeared on their butt cheeks, oatmeal thrown at their butt cheeks, and were forbidden from scratching said butt cheeks. How did that prepare them for politics?
Well, that's a good one that I actually have personal experience with. Self-control is super important when you're a politician. You know, when people try to bribe you to vote against your constituents' interests, you have to have restraint.
Okay, that's kind of admirable.
Yeah, can you imagine? It must take so much self-control not to brag about all the cool shit you bought with the bribe money.
Man, that's really disappointing.
Okay, according to a former Yale classmate, as part of Deke initiation, Brett Kavanaugh had to run around Old Campus 3 times with a frozen hot dog up his butt. How did that prepare him for the Supreme Court?
Well, that's interesting. Supreme Court trials can last a long-ass time. And when things last a long-ass time, you can get dead-ass hungry. And what better way to stave off your dead-ass hunger than with a warm-ass hot dog? Sorry, a warm-ass hot dog.
Okay, Ben, but at the end of the day, how does using your father's connections to enter a boys' club exclusively made up of rich white men teach you anything about political life?
Well, obviously, using your father's connections to enter a boys' club exclusively made up of rich white men teaches you how to use your father's connections to enter a boys' club exclusively made up of rich white men.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Ben Friedman, everybody.